Also, we were shooting probably in 6 weeks or
Yeah.
something like that.
Would have been bad.
Yeah.
I hope you like it.
Yeah, so we were nervous about showing it to Veronica, we had the screen test, of which we thought was fantastic, and we had introduced him to Summit and Lionsgate, and when they first heard his name and said, "Who is he?" we said, "Just go home and ask your wife about Mr. Pamuk." And so that we got through that hurdle. And so we were kind of nervous, a little bit like sort of, meeting the bride's family or whatever it is to go show her Theo, because again, Shay, you could see the descendants and you could see she was phenomenal. There was no question about it. She'd already been vetted by the critical world, and so we showed her Theo, and he improvised in this little scene. And during the scene, he says to her, "Come here, come here." And Veronica's sitting in her chair, and we didn't know you that well then, and suddenly she gets up like this, and she goes, "Go, go." And we thought, okay, this looks good. And the next thing, we didn't want to make her self-conscious, so we looked down, and then I peeked over again, and she's going like this.
Chemistry. Good.
So then, okay, that was a bingo.
It did happen.
So late in the process.
This week.
Why was it so late in the process? Because we were. I mean, why did he come into it so late? He's living in England. We did see people. We saw lots of people in England. We saw people in Germany. We saw people in Denmark. We saw people all over the world. I don't know why he came into it so late, but it's a process that you're looking for names first, people who have a profile already, been in some successful movies, and then at a certain point we're looking for anybody. So
It's very rare someone that talented of that age doesn't have a profile in movies. That was
yeah,
a
and if you've
wonderful
seen the
surprise.
movie, he's incredible. He's a great actor. He's a great screen presence. He's an incredible fighter. He really has it all.
One more question. Thank you. Last question.
Oh, hi, Veronica. Actually, I'm a big fan of your book series. It's very thoughtful and relevant to what we're going through today, and the ideas of conformity and so forth, and the terrors of that. But this is an interesting medium to put this book in. It's a very thoughtful film as a result. And for both you and Neil, how was it creating a Divergent film? It tackles so many different genres at one time. Was it cumbersome at times? Was it challenging? And did you have pressure not to kind of like talk down to your audience? Because it's a very thoughtful message in the film.
Well, I definitely wasn't going to talk. For me, I was making I know it's a young adult book. I was making an adult movie.
Adult movie.
Whatever that means, yeah. They had to bring me back from the NC-17, and we just... And so, but, I think all those themes apply to somebody that's 16, who's 26, who's 36, 46, of, where do I fit in the world? Who am I? What's the cost? Am I different? And if I'm different, do I hide it? Do I try to blend in, or do I speak with my own voice? And then what's the cost of doing that? And obviously in the movie, they're going to kill her. But I think it's really just a metaphor for anybody. What do you go out on a limb for? Who do you speak up for? When do you choose to kind of just conform, and when do you not? So I thought all those themes, and then ultimately those are sort of personal things, and then the larger themes of how do we get along in the world with each other? How do we as a society or groups, how can we ever find a system? And there is a system that starts these 5 factions in the movie that seems to be working, but how do we? And then it falls apart, and so after that you're like, well, how do we ever find consensus? How do we ever get along and have some sort of harmony or even peace?
Thank you all very much. Thank you. It was great. Thank you.